So here we are at Occupy DC here on K Street. We have been organized here for about a week now, a little over a week, and we've just seen some people at the Air and Space Museum here in Washington, D.C. Get pepper sprayed, and here's somebody who's witnessed it. What is your name?
My name is Cody Steele, and I'm a senior at American University here in Washington, D.C.
And Cody, could you tell me what you saw?
I saw a march starting at Freedom Plaza with inclusion of people here from McPherson as well as people from Madison, Wisconsin, joining together to march to the Air and Space Museum. The Stop the Machine protest that's going on right now at Freedom Plaza, their central argument is to end U.S. occupation of Afghanistan and Iraq, and they were participating in a teach-in and a public demonstration or an occupation at the Air and Space Museum to counter their honoring of drone warfare. So as the march came down East Street towards the mall, the National Mall, it gained momentum. It really engaged the people on the sidewalks and in the street. People joined in, tourists jumped in, they realized it was the 99% being called for, being gathered together, and we all rallied together and arrived at the Air and Space Museum, quite a few hundred strong, and very loud with a lot of momentum. So at that point, the group settled for a very short time before rushing the doors, before trying to enter the Smithsonian Air and Space Museum. There was a system of two doors, a lobby. The first door was breached, the second door was breached, and a security guard apparently pepper sprayed a few individuals. The individuals were from the Freedom Plaza March, as well as a bunch of people from McPherson Square here at OccupyDC, and they were pepper sprayed directly in the face by a Smithsonian guard. So it was by a Smithsonian guard and not the DC police or the DC Park police that the action was engaged. They did not attack the guard. They did not confront him violently. They were trying to enter the public museum, the free admission public museum owned by the Smithsonian, and were pepper sprayed upon entrance. So one woman was incapacitated upon being hit in the face with the mace. She was then detained within the building as the rest of the individuals were pushed out. Anyone that was within about 15 feet felt it, myself being among those. We felt it. We arrived at the scene. You were overcome by the sensation, the spicy sensation. You had to turn around to start coughing just to catch your breath. An individual that was sprayed directly in the face stood right next to me and threw up. People from Freedom Plaza, from the Stop the Machine, showed up immediately with water bottles, milk, eye wash, and other things. There was a medic on call, and the paramedics were brought in. The girl that was detained was not released whether or not she had received medical attention by the time that the crowd had chosen to occupy the steps directly outside the museum. She was released out the back, but there were other arrests made.
And you just told a story basically about your helping someone down the stairs, essentially.
Yep. So in the lead of the pack, the people at the march, there were a few elderly women from Code Pink and other organizations working over at Freedom Plaza that had chosen to go in head first and that were incapacitated by direct macings in the face. There was a woman who couldn't open her eyes. She literally was just left standing there. She had been pushed down by the guards, pushed out of the museum, and left blind on the streets. We had to carry her down so she could even receive medical attention. She couldn't see the steps in front of her. The macing was so bad. So they were saying that they weren't detained because of their health status, because they were frail, older women. So that was something that might have worked in their favor, but still incapacitated them.
Interesting. Thank you so much.
No problem. My pleasure.